Hello, my name is Ashlyn Halton, and I'm going to give a speech about texting and driving. First, I'm going to start off by giving you statistics about what has happened with people who have been texting and driving. In 2011, 23% of Americans were involved in a car crash due to texting or using their cell phones. Whenever someone receives a text message, it takes a minimum of 5 seconds to look at it. Just to look at it, not to read the whole thing. If someone is driving 55 miles an hour, that is the whole length of a football field. So therefore, the people are driving a whole football field without knowing where they're going. 23 times, people are 23 times more likely to crash if they're using their cell phone. If someone is dialing, it is 2.8 times more likely. If someone is talking and listening, it is 1.3 times more likely. If someone is even just reaching for their cell phone, it is 1.4 times more likely to be involved in a car crash if using your cell phone. 13% of drivers ages 18 through 20 were involved in car wrecks, and the 13% admitted to actually using their cell phone. Those are just the ones that admitted to it. I'm sure there's a bunch more. I know I'm guilty, or was once guilty. 34% say that texting while they drive is okay, that they seem to be good at it. 82% of Americans aged 16 through 17 own a cell phone. That is very high possibility that they are using their cell phone while they drive. 52% of Americans say they talk on the phone while driving. 77% of young deaths of young people dying is due to texting and driving. 55% claim that it is easy to text while they drive, that they are good at it and they don't see it really being a problem. Teens who text and drive are approximately spending 10% of their driving time driving out of their lane due to texting. 48% of kids ages 12 through 17 are involved in car wrecks due to texting and driving. Not necessarily them texting and driving, but maybe someone who is driving them around was texting. 1 in every 5 people driving are surfing the web. That's scary to think. Whenever you're driving down the road, count out 5 cars, and one of them are paying attention to their phone. I'm going to tell you a story about my car accident involved using a phone. On May 12, 2011, at 6 o'clock, I was running late for my high school graduation. I was going about 20 miles over the speed limit, and I had my phone next to me. I wasn't paying any attention. I leaned over and reached for my phone, and then when I leaned over, I had gone off the road. Whenever I had gone off, I looked back up and it scared me. So I jerked the steering wheel and I swerved about 3 times and ended up hitting a culvert in a ditch. I remember once I stopped, I didn't care where my cell phone was or where anything was. I just couldn't believe it had happened. It took about 5 minutes before someone found me. And my family actually ended up passing me and then found out that was me actually in the car wreck. I was taken by ambulance to the Greendale Medical Center, and there I had to have surgery on my ankle. I had minor cuts and bruises, but I had burns on my arm from the airbag, and my ankle was shattered. I had to have 15 screws and 2 plates, and I spent 3 days in the hospital, and it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. I would do anything to take back those 2 seconds that it took to lean over and get that phone and actually be able to go to my high school graduation. I missed so much that summer. I missed going to my graduation. I missed going on the mystery trip after my graduation. I missed moving to Starkville and starting a job there over the summer. I missed doing my last dance recital and also my solo at my dance recital. And I also was out of a car. So I wish, if anything, I could take it back. But I've learned my lesson, and I do not do it. I've been guilty quite a couple times after that. But I actually think about it now. And I'd like to warn anyone else who would ever consider doing it to be careful and to know the consequences. But that is my experience with texting and driving, and I hope you have learned. And that's it.